to not waste time. So time starts when I exit the disclaimer screen, so I'm gonna count down after hitting A here. Are you ready? Right, so that's 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so right off the bat we're going to skip the prologue. No one wants to read the game's story. And if you don't know what this game's about, it's about surgery. Speed surgery, and sometimes going really fast in this game ends up with the patient dead. We're going to avoid that at all costs. But speedrunning this game usually requires you to sacrifice some accuracy, so we're going to hurt the patient a bit. Right off the bat here, we're going to extract some blast shards and suture some cuts, which should take about 10 seconds, which is kind of like nothing like real surgery. So right there I accidentally missed the incision. Might happen a lot. And that's about it for the first operation of the game. In 10 seconds we just saved a life. If only it were that simple. So each episode is going to have an operation. There are 40 episodes total, and every episode needs to be done in hard difficulty for the run to count, and things will get progressively harder. These first ones will be a little bit simple because they're supposed to be tutorials. In this one we're going to extract a tumor, which should take about 10 seconds if I get the incision on the first try. Okay, good. This operation introduces the magic syringe, which boosts the patient's vitals, which will be very important for hard mode. The health bar over here, if it reaches 0, you die, or well, not you, the patient. And if you kill the patient, you have to do the operation all over again. Simple stuff. You can rewind time. That should be based on reality, right? So after each operation, you can skip the story segment that follows it by choosing to select, go back to the episode select screen. Really though, the games might seem a little bit all over the place if you've never seen someone play it, but you get used to it with time. The game does a good job of slowly introducing you to the mechanics. So it's nice for the viewer and nice for whoever is playing it for the first time. So here we're going to extract 3 tumors. And that's about it. Every operation is mostly deterministic, so without much randomness, you can pretty much memorize what you have to do and just do it every time. It works. Just like real life. Episode 1.4 here doesn't have an operation to it. It's simply a story segment, so we can skip it. And, well, the story for this game follows the main surgeon, Derek, who just got out of residency and is starting off in the local hospital. Okay. Coming up, we're going to deal with throat polyps. Should also be a simple operation. Just laser the thing, laser the patient's throat, and he'll be fine. The game is entirely controlled with motion controls too, so That yellow dot you see on the screen is where I'm pointing at. That was a little bit slow. I missed one of the polyps with the laser. So yeah, the control scheme is very basic. You use the control stick to choose tools. You use the Wiimote buttons to do stuff, and you point at the screen. Anyone can pretty much... The game is really simple to play. The problem is when you start going fast, and the first operation we might run into trouble with is 1-6, right, this one. It's another tumor operation. There are 4 tumors, except there will be many inflammations on screen. And if you don't move fast enough, the patient will die. So, yeah, let's try to be precise. Oh, also if you miss, the patient will lose a little bit of health, which in this operation could be really, really bad. And of course they miss, just to add some little bit of tension. This might not look like it, but it's very precise and difficult to do. So because I missed so much, I need to boost vitals. Now it's as simple as extracting the 4 tumors. And there you go. That was a little bit slow, but we didn't kill the patient, so that has to count for something. Okay. So far, most all operations were kind of based on things that could happen in real life. Sure, you completed them in 10 to 15 seconds, but it's still kind of, you know, real, in a way. Then you get to this operation, and things start getting weird. You're going to see why. So basically, a child got hit in a car accident, and we need to help him. And yes, this game is incredibly fun. And running it is very stress-inducing, so yes. First of all, we revive the child by using the defibrillator. Okay, good. Sometimes the game doesn't recognize your sutures. It's kind of weird. Oops. Okay, so once you take off all the glass shards, you need to revive the patient again. And surprise, there was a glass shard inside the patient's heart. And if that's not enough, the heart itself starts to rip right open. So we summon the demons and slow down time, which allows us to suture the patient's heart before it explodes. I'm not making this up, this is the game's actual story. Moving on here, we're going to the Zeke chapter, which is a side story of sorts to the main plot, which is going to follow another surgeon, Naomi Kimishima. And we'll do a total of 5 operations with her before the main plot and the side plot merge. This is the first one. We're going to fix a broken arm, which is in pretty bad shape, as you can see. But it's no biggie. We can fix it. Just like that. Just like real life. Okay. That was a little bit bad. I missed the bandage. Missing the bandage isn't too hard, because it needs to be at a very strict position and angle for it to count. But anyway. So, back to the main plot. We're going to chapter 2. We will learn to control that star thingy we did automatically to slow down time. Here we're going to deal with thrombi, and I'm going to be quiet for a bit because this is very precise. Alright, so we want to stop all of them on the same spot here so that when time slows down, we can treat all of them at once. Gel. Okay. I don't see Punchy talking. And I don't hear anything, so I don't think he is. But anyway, each operation you're assigned a grade based on your score. There I got the max grade possible, XS. But for any percent, which is the category we're running, score doesn't matter. So you really just have to treat the patient as fast as possible. So for this episode, we're going to learn how to draw stars, if you're unaware of how to draw them. That's literally it. You draw 5 stars and the episode is over. From now on, we can use that star power thingy to slow down time at will. But we're not going to do that because it creates lag, and lag slows down time in real life, and we don't want that. Or well, it doesn't slow down time in real life, but you know what I meant. Back to the story, we're going to treat aneurysms. And the game expects you to use the star thing, which is actually called the healing touch, and I'm going to use that name from now on. But instead of using the healing touch and treating all aneurysms, we're going to let 2 of them explode because it's faster and it doesn't create lag. And yes, I draw stars counterclockwise. It's faster. Ugh. Switching tools is a pain. Alright, so here 4 of them are going to show up at once, but we're only going to treat 2 of them and let the other 2 explode. Don't do this, IRL, please. You're going to kill the patient for real. I mean, if you're a doctor. If you're not a doctor, you shouldn't even see an aneurysm. The point is, the patient survived, which is what matters. It is a simulator as much as Surgeon Simulator is a surgery simulation. It isn't. Ugh, come on. Okay, so this patient has cuts on the lung, and we can just treat them like this. Ugh. If only the game would recognize my sutures. That would be lovely. Sometimes it just says no, that is not a correct suture. Mostly because it needs to cross the laceration at a very specific region for it to count. And sometimes when you're doing things too fast, that condition isn't met. So far, the game has been weird and unrealistic. But I mean, it's still based on real surgery, right? Surely it'll keep going like this until the end. You would think that, and then this episode happens. The patient we just treated on the last episode got worse again for unknown reasons. So we're going to open her up and investigate what's going on. And to no one's surprise, the lacerations are all back. After we treat them, something weird is going to happen. There is a little bat thingy inside her. I am not making this up. And you burn the little bat thingies, and the patient is saved. And here we're gonna have to deal with the big bat, which we need to hit 3 times to kill because this is a video game. Now the patient is saved because we killed the virus. Oh, okay, never mind. Ugh. What am I doing? That's not supposed to happen. Okay, let's do it again. Oh my god. So my finger slipped on the button and I accidentally pressed it twice, which killed the patient. Right after the patient was saved. And that's why you don't run hard mode. The patient dies if you do that. Ugh. But hey, you guys will see the bat thingy again, and how cool it is. At least that's a plus, right? Ugh. Need 24. Okay, there we go. Let's try not to kill the patient now. There we go. I probably wasted like a minute and 20. Maybe more. But it's okay. I was pretty generous with my estimate. Because this kind of stuff happens. So this episode has a pretty cool skip. Normally you're supposed to use the healing touch to transplant a heart valve. But you don't need to do that if you're fast enough. You can one cycle the valve switching thing without the healing touch. Normally after, I think it's 8 seconds, the patient will go into cardiac arrest, just like now, but it'll happen again after we revive the patient. But if you're fast enough, you can finish it before the patient fibrillates, and I'm not going to do it in time, and I had to use the star, because otherwise I would look silly and waste even more time. So that's a trick we didn't do live. Oh well. The backup strat there is to use the healing touch to give yourself a little bit more time to do that. Back to the side plot, we're going to deal with some weird tumors. Oh, and yes, they do look like manta rays as well. I just see them as bats, so I say bats. Also, bats is shorter than manta rays. Anyway, we need to drain the tumor, excise the little veins attached to it, and then extract the tumors. But there's a catch. If you take out one of them, when you start working on the other one, the one you extracted will respawn, so you need to treat them at the same time. And this luck. How much blood you get here is completely random, and the more blood you get, the more time you waste. I got a lot there, which is terrible. Oh, and here we're gonna do the star automagically. Except the girl's healing touch doesn't slow down time. Instead, whenever you finish an action, you can see that OKs are popping up, like now and now. The patient's vitals go, the patient gains a little bit of vitals, which prevents it from dying. Anyway. Okay, that was decent luck with the blood pools. Ugh. These bandages, man. I need to stop missing the bandages because operations are going to get pretty hectic from now on. And missing the bandages will kill the patients. So, moving on to chapter 3, we are told that that little bat thing we killed was actually Guilt, a man-made virus that is kind of a big deal in bioterrorism, and there's a government organization that's dealing with it and operating on everyone that's infected with it, and we just got recruited to that. So we're going to operate on more bats now. The catch here is that things will deal a little bit more damage. Just a little bit. So I'm gonna have to heal the patient every now and then to make sure I don't die. Ugh. Okay. So now I'm at 1 health, which means that if I miss the bandage, I'll die again. Thankfully I got it right. But anyways, from now on the game is mostly going to focus on this man-made virus, aka Guilt. So if you enjoyed the regular operations with aneurysms and tumors, you're not going to see any more of those. Sorry. moving on here, we're gonna deal with the second strain of this virus. That first one was called Kyriaki, and it makes cuts. The second one is named Diphthera, and it's a moving tumor. That's what the game calls it. And this is completely luck-based. The movement is completely random, so depending on the game's willing, I'm going to lose 20, maybe 40 seconds here. Simply waiting for things to happen. Ugh. Okay, so first off, we've burned these little tumors. Now, here's the actual guild. It's divided into two. There's a blue part and a red part. And when they meet and fuse together, you can drain their tissue. After doing this 3 times, they go into a frenzy, and you can extract them. Ugh. You can kind of manipulate their movement with the gel, but it's not consistent. Okay, so after extracting it, we're going to the lungs, where there will be 2 pairs of them. And when there are 2 pairs, if a blue cell meets another blue cell, or 2 red cells meet, they are going to deal a lot of damage to the patient and overall be very annoying. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Here I got a really good pattern. They met up. Okay, never mind. Oh, and if one of them bumps into the pair that's kind of hanging out, they stop hanging out because they got bothered. Here, this pen is really good. Oh my god. Hello. Okay. I got a really good pattern. Same color pairs didn't meet, and they didn't waste much time, like zoning around. That's really good. At least I got really good luck to counter the death I had earlier. Moving on. I think this one is by far the most famous operation of this game. It isn't really an operation, it's just a survival episode. We're going to disarm a bomb. I'm not making this up. An actual bomb. With surgical tools. And it's the part of the run where runs die. Like, it's the most tense part of the run because you can only miss twice. Actually, once. If you miss twice, you die. At one point, there will be red panels on the screen and white panels as well. You can only laser the white panels. If you laser the red panels, you die. So, and they're going to switch around. Switch positions often, and you need to laser all the white cells. It'll be very clear about what I'm talking about in a second. Hold on. Okay, right here. I'm going to be quiet because I need to focus, but I need to kill all the white little hexagons. I'm an idiot. Okay, great. Isn't that lovely? The game sometimes does this to you. Like, you're aiming at a specific panel, and you just hit the laser button, and the panel flashes red. That's lovely. I love this game. And now we get to do it again. Great. And this is why we are generous with our estimates. Nope. This part here is deterministic. You can just plug these in the same position and it works every time. Okay, let's get it right this time. Please. Gah! This game, man. It plays tricks in here. Okay, I'm gonna play super safe here. But again, the game can just decide, no, you're not gonna win, and kill me. Ugh. And sometimes the panels just go to the other part of this view and you can't hit the panels. Okay, come on. Okay, good. Now here we're going to use the healing touch to slow down time and kill the core, hopefully. Okay, good. So that's one less thing to worry about. Gee, that was pretty bad. That first death was kind of my fault because I missed. But I had to play it safe for the second one, so for the second try, so it was super slow. Oh well. Moving on here, we're going to operate on an airplane. Like someone was having lung issues, so we're going to cut him open and drain some fluid from his lung mid-flight. I swear this game gets more and more retarded the more I play it. The more the story progresses, the weirder it gets. Hello. So here there are 4 set patterns where the what's the name for this? Anyway, there are 4 set patterns where the liquid could appear. The pattern that shows up is random, but it's pretty simple to check which one you have. Once you find one of them, you pretty much have all of them because you can have the patterns themselves memorized. Once you deal with them 4 times, the patient is saved. There we go. Oh, and also that operation is kind of like an auto-scroller because you need to wait on the turbulence. If you operate on the patient while the plane is shaking, the patient will take quite a lot of damage and possibly die from it. So if you ever have to operate on someone while in an airplane, if the airplane is shaking, do not touch the patient. Next up, we have the 3rd strain of guilt, treaty, which is fairly simple to treat. We're going to use the healing touch and remove everything. Treaty is pretty much a layer of green Doritos with birthday candles on it. And really all you have to do is take out all the birthday candles and then all the Doritos. And it works every time. Ugh. Except I fail at hitboxes. But the gimmick here is that if there are two adjacent birthday candles when you extract a Dorito, the more Doritos will appear. And it'll keep replicating itself over and over until you extract all the non-adjacent birthday candles. But really, if you use the healing touch, you don't have to worry about that because time moves at such a slow pace that you can extract everything before it regenerates. Moving on here, for the third episode of the side plot, we're going to operate in the dark with only a pen light to guide us. Apparently this guy was in a car crash or something. Here I'm going to use her healing touch to make sure the patient doesn't die while we treat him in the dark. And right here, the pen light will run out of batteries. But it's fine, we can operate in the dark, like in the complete dark. It's fine. Everything is positioned deterministically, so you just have to memorize where things are, and it works every time. Coming up is chapter 4, my least favorite one. We're going to deal with two different strains of guilt, Tetarti and Pempti. Here in the first chapters, we're going to deal with Tetarti. We need to develop anti-serum for it, and in order to do that, we're going to open up patients that are infected with immature versions of the guilt, extract the immature version, and once you extract them, extract from them the anti-serum we will need to save other patients. Which really is a simple procedure. All you have to do is paralyze the thing and extract it. And you need to do this 3 times because you need 3 anti-serums. Now, here the game tries to make you wander around. There are 5 patients total, each with a different anti-serum. You only need 3, and thus there are 2 duplicates. Thankfully, though, we do not need to operate on the duplicates. We can just ignore them and leave them to die. And the 3 anti-serums you need will always be in the same position on the map, so there really isn't any luck factor to this episode. You just need to do the same thing 3 times, and that's about it. In the DS version of this game, you don't get to choose which patient you're going to operate on, so how many operations you do is completely up to luck. You can do it as many as 5 or just 3, like in this game. And I should note that this game is a remake of the DS game, of the original DS game, like Trauma Center. Oh my god, Trauma Center Under the Knife. Hello. Sometimes it's hard to find the thing with the ultrasound. But anyways, this is a remake of the DS game, and it has a few more episodes to it, so that people could buy the same game twice. without complaining. And then the series continued, kind of, with this game, then Trauma Center New Blood, which is an entirely new entry for the Wii. Then they made Trauma Center Under the Knife 2, a sequel for the DS. Then they made another original game, Trauma Team, for the Wii, back when the Wii Motion Plus was starting to exist. I don't remember when that was. And then the series died. Atlas never made another game, which is very sad. Yes, for New Blood they added 2-player co-op. For Trauma Team they added 6 different specialties you could take. One of them was surgery, the other one was first care. There was also endoscopy, diagnostics, and other stuff. I can't remember, but I need to focus. Sorry. Google it. Ugh. Okay, so here we're gonna deal with the 4th strain of guilt, the Tarty, which makes those weird little tumors. And now we're gonna have these synchronized Olympic swimmers in the patient's liver. And it's simple. You inject the yellow serum on the yellow guy, the green serum on the green guy, and etc. And it works. The only difficulty you can have with this operation is if you're colorblind, in which case, sorry, you're gonna have a hard time with this operation if you're colorblind. I guess they didn't think this one through, but anyway. With Tetarty out of the way, we can move on to Pempty, which is another boring auto-scroller operation. But since the game needs to have more episodes, they decided to put some filler to it, and we're going to first investigate how to deal with the guilt. So we're going to open up the patient, try out all of our surgical tools to see what works. Then we're going to close up the patient, study the data, and come up with a plan to actually extract the virus. Which is ridiculous, because you would put the patient under 2 operations when the virus is already so advanced. Like, it's pretty much asking for the patient to die. But anyways, we're gonna try out the scalpel. It's gonna do nothing. Then we're gonna try the laser. Also nothing. Then we're gonna try the gel. Also nothing. So we're gonna try these colored little things. And surprise, they work. Oh my god. Okay, let's make sure the patient won't die. Oh no! What are you... Ah! Okay, I ran out of syringe. I was supposed to inject just a little bit more of the white stuff to extract the core, but I ran out of syringe and couldn't do it. Which is a shame, but hey. At least the patient didn't die. It's gotta be good, right? Coming up is medical research, like real medical research. This is how PMD goes, guys. R&D, sorry. I was thinking in Portuguese. You match proteins with the holes and you make medicine. That's how you make good stuff. Now you too can be a medical researcher. So the game still needs a little bit more filler. So we're going to open up the patient again, try out our new drug, see if it works, and then back off because it will not work. Anyway, we inject this new serum 3 times, burn off the tumors it makes, burn off the core, and we're all like, oh, okay, it's gonna work. Surprise, no, it doesn't work. So we do it again to make sure it doesn't work. Then we extract the core. Now we think, okay, now it worked, right? Oh no. Apparently the core can regenerate itself if you extract it, so the only solution is to burn it. So we're gonna close up the patient, do some more medical research, and come back. I hate this chapter. It's so much filler and so little surgery? Like the only operations you have, like you actually treat stuff, are episodes 4-4 where we treated the Tarty, and the upcoming 410 where we're gonna kill Pempty. The rest is just filler. Doesn't make sense. Could have been something better. Anyways, we solve more puzzles. Oh my god. I placed that one wrong. But it's okay. That wastes like nothing seconds. Maybe one. Anyhow, we're actually going to deal with Pempty now, and it's a auto-scroller. It's going to keep spawning little cells at you that you need to burn with the laser before they damage the patient. But really, if you know the pattern, there's nothing to fear. You know exactly what to do. Like here, there will be 5 red cells, which will go in random directions, but you can burn them before they do any damage. Then there's going to be 5 blue cells, which you need to burn. They'll make some tumors when they go up, but you can just gel them up. Then those will come circling around, but they're a non-issue. And here I just wanted to show off that the red ones make lacerations, because really you just have to hold A during this entire operation, which can get boring pretty quickly. So you let the patient suffer a little bit so that you have something to do. And this just keeps going on and on forever until you deal enough damage to the core that it explodes. There you go. Ugh. Having the suture miss is kind of rare, because I usually make sure that I have 4 or 5 stitches. Anyway. We're done with chapter 4, which means we're going to the 4th episode in the side plot. We'll do a kidney transplant. Except there's a catch. Those weird tumors we saw in side plot episode 2 are back. This operation is kind of annoying because at one point it just decides to hang and make you wait 10 seconds for no good reason. Like, after you're done with the transplant, the game decides, oh, okay, let me load nothing for 10 seconds. It just hangs there indefinitely. And it's random. Sometimes it doesn't happen, and sometimes it always happens. So here we make the veins shrink, cut them open, connect them to the kidney, do the same with the bladder, and now we're done. But the game thinks, okay, let me waste some time here. I got a good roll there. It only wasted 4 seconds, but sometimes it can go as up as 11 seconds. It's really weird. Moving on here, we're going to 5-2, which is the first rush operation of the game. We're going to deal with 5 patients back to back. The game gives you 10 minutes because it expects you to, get tired and move slowly. But since we're going super fast, we can do it in 3.5 minutes. And the game is so generous that it doesn't require you to save all 5 patients. If you save 3 of them, it still counts as an episode clear. Ugh. So here, the big bat has powered up a little bit and now requires 4 hits to kill. Which is very annoying because now you're going to have to inject some vitals every time you deal with the big one. Because each time you cut it, it deals 8 damage. So you need 32 health in order to deal with the big one. And you hardly ever have 32 health at the end. Okay, here I'm gonna boost all the way to 32. And it just works. So starting with the third one, the big bat thing will come with a small one as well. So there's more stuff to deal with. Hello. Sometimes they just don't show up on the ultrasound. It's really annoying. Right, so here there's a big one and a small one. Ugh. So I need to go all the way to 24 health. and do this. Doing this operation quickly is really, really hard on your wrist, because you need to constantly switch tools and press buttons again. Like every time you need to extract the big guy, you need to switch from ultrasound to scalpel to gel to laser to stitches and then back. And stitching requires a lot of fast zigzagging. So after this operation, my wrist is almost always sore. Ugh. Okay. So now there's only one patient left, and we still have 7 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. Ugh. Hello? Okay. Their spawning position is completely random. Here I got two to spawn together, which is very nice. I shouldn't have done that. Okay. That was a little bit risky. I should have healed before letting the big one come. Okay, so I need to go all the way to 24. And do things again. So with every patient saved, we can finally end this episode. We did it in 3 minutes and 20 seconds, I think, which is a very good time. I think my best time on that operation is 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Actually, no, 15. So, Chapter 5 is mostly dealing with every guild that you have dealt with in the past, again, except the Thurler. So now we're going to do Treaty, and the next operation will be the Tarty. And again, Treaty is as simple as using the Healing Touch and extracting everything before it regenerates, which is super simple, so... Now, if only I could stop missing, thank you. Hello. These hitboxes are very weird. Like, the model is a triangle, but the hitbox is a tiny little circle. Exactly in the middle of the triangle. So if you grab it by the edge, it's not going to work. It's very annoying. So here's the Tarty again. It's the same treatment as before. Inject yellow on yellow, green on green, purple on purple. Hello? My Wiimote kind of got stuck there. Weird. I should be worried. The Wiimote shouldn't hang like that. That's so weird. Maybe the batteries are getting low? That would be very bad. the batteries end mid-run, it could be a... What is going on? Could be a disaster. Hello? What is going on? My controller is not working properly. Okay, there we go. I couldn't select the stitches. What the hell? Anyways, moving on here, we're gonna deal with the 6, I think, Strain of Guilt, which is Parascavi. It's basically a worm that crawls your organs and tries to reach your heart, and the moment it burrows into your heart, you die instantly. The gimmick is that when you cut the worm, it divides itself into 2 others. So... the worm starts in the large intestine and moves up the organs in some order I can't remember. The heart is the last one though. Alright, so we're going to let one of the big ones go. Intentionally. Because it's faster to do it like this. Our vitals are getting low, so we're going to need to boost vitals in a bit. But it's faster to do it in the organ transition, which is coming up now. Since we need to wait for the worm to resurface, we can use this time to inject vitals. If we didn't do it like this, we would need to keep lasering the worm in the earlier organ, which would lead to some time wasted, since we would have to keep paralyzing the worm over and over. Like this, we can just not worry about it for a little bit. Right here. That should not... Okay, that was a little bit bad. It took me a little bit too long to suture the things, so I was a little bit scared of dying there. As you can see, I have 1 health. I should have like 3 or 5. So that was unnecessarily risky, but we did it. So story-wise, we are closing in on the evil organization that's spreading this crazy virus around, and we're going to assault their HQ right now, and we're going to find the final strain of guilt named Salvatore. For this first operation, we're going to deal with the immature version, which is a bunch of baby spiders. And then on the next operation, we're going to deal with the mature one, which is a mecha spider. Anyway, after opening up the patient, we take care of these cuts. Thank you. What is happening? My controller is acting up again. What is going on? Like I couldn't select the tools I wanted. What is happening? Again. I think my Wiimote is dying. Why in the middle of the run? There are thousands of other times it could happen instead. Okay, here I'm gonna use the star because things got weird. Normally, the baby spiders are not supposed to merge like this. And now there's lag everywhere, and I probably wasted like 15 seconds. Unbelievable. So you are supposed to use the healing touch there, but the way things are, it kind of got screwed over a little bit. It's not low batteries. Like I checked the LED and it says it's almost fully charged. It seems to be an issue with the sensor bar. Or maybe the Wiimote itself, like maybe it's disconnecting and connecting again. I don't know. If it keeps happening though, I'll try to switch batteries again. I just hope it doesn't happen somewhere vital. Like, you know, the final boss or something. Anyway, so here dealing with the mature Savato, we need to cut its web. And we just, you know, cut it with the scalpel. And doing so, the scalpel becomes unusable for a little bit while we take out the tissue. You do this 3 times and then it moves on into the combat phase, when it will start actively hurting the patient and making cuts everywhere and making baby spiders. Here it makes a little extra web, but it doesn't really matter much. You can just cut it away. Now this part is completely random. Its attack pattern can range from the most docile thing ever to the most aggressive thing ever. My Wiimote. Okay, so you see there are still 2 ticks of battery left. I have no idea what is going on. But please, God. Okay, what? I am having issues. My Wiimote is dying. Anyway. If you keep burning the big spider, it'll eventually take damage. And if you deal like 5 ticks of damage, it will move on to the next phase. There are a total of 3 phases. Okay, so there we finished the first phase. Now we just need to deal with this small stuff before we can continue. What is this? I've never seen that before. It never made a super big cut like that before. I've never seen that. That's really cool. I guess this run is kind of crazy overall, and this is a very aggressive pattern. Like super aggressive. The good thing about aggressive patterns is that they usually don't have much health. So things are over quickly. And every time I pause, it'll be because the Wiimote is crashing itself into oblivion. I really, really hope it stops doing that. Also, I'm running out of laser exactly when I finish damaging the guild, so that's kind of annoying, because when you run out of laser you need to wait for it to fully charge and you need to kill the baby spiders, because if you leave them alone they'll make big blue spiders, which are bad. Anyway, here we're done with phase 3, so it'll go berserk and the star will automatically activate itself, so activate a star on top of the star to pause time completely and kill the thing. So we killed the thing. Good. with a faulty Wiimote. That's something. I probably wasted like a full minute because of those pauses. Oh my god. There's like 20 minutes of run left. Really hope the Wiimote doesn't die by then. Anyway, let's do the final operation for the side plot here. We're going to deal with Kyriaki and the big blue spiders we saw on the previous chapter. Previous? I'm not sure if it was the previous or the one before it. Oh, also starting from this episode, the small Kyriaki will take 4 hits to kill. Actually, 3 hits to kill instead of 2. And here we're supposed to retrieve these big blue spiders, but we're just going to ignore that and kill 2 of them. You only have to retrieve 1 of them for the operation to be a success. And I'm also using the healing touch because I don't want the patient to die while I'm taking care of the bad things. And there we go. Once we have extracted everything, just close up the patient and be done with this. Alright, so now the main plot and the side plot will merge into chapter 6, which is the final chapter for the story. This is a story chapter, I can skip. There are only 5 episodes left. One which is really simple, which is this one. It's just another Tetarti. And there's also another one which is another Penti, which is also relatively simple. The other 3 though are very annoying in hard mode because things can get pretty chaotic. Anyway, Tetarti here has a new gimmick. Sometimes the colors won't show up at all, and you need to tell which one is which by the gas they produce, like right now. The yellow one will make yellow gas, the green one will make green gas, and the purple one will make purple gas. So telling them apart is a little bit difficult like this. But it's still relatively easy. It doesn't add a lot of difficulty. Hello. Oh, and if you miss and inject the wrong one, like I did there, they make another one of those weird tumors. I injected the wrong one because they were taking too long to produce gas, so I tried to guess which one was the yellow one. I usually guess right, but right there I guessed wrong. Moving on. Here, for this operation, the patient is the surgeon we have been using the entire run. So we're going to use the female surgeon to operate on the main surgeon so that the story can keep going. And really, that's the only reason the storylines had to merge. I should note that this chapter is exclusive to the Wii remake. These operations were not in the DS original. But anyways, we have Kyriaki and Paraskevi right on the patient's heart, which means that Paraskevi cannot burrow into the patient's heart. If it does, the patient will die automatically. We don't want that. Here I'm going to activate the the star thing to kind of deal with all the damage that I'm taking without killing the patient. So this operation lags a lot because there are 5 Kyriaki at once on the screen. With a lot of cuts and blood, which also add to the lag. Hello. But anyways, once you take care of the Kyriaki, the lag is over and you just need to deal with the Paraskevi that show up, and then you can deal with the Kyriaki in peace. This really isn't that much of a difficult operation if you know what you're doing, and if your Wiimote actually works. Since you can deal with the guild separately, they really aren't a big threat together. Still though, if you let one of the Paraskevi worms burrow into the heart, it's over. It's over. Anyways, here's the second Pempty operation. For some reason, it's easier than the original one. And it's another auto-scroller. There isn't much to comment about it. I guess I could comment on the game's story, but honestly, it's so fucking out there that I probably shouldn't. I would spend like hours talking about it because it doesn't make sense. Ugh. Okay. So again, all you have to do is deal with the cores as they show up. The red ones make lacerations, the blue ones make tumors, and these ones, I don't know what they do because they deal with them faster than they do stuff. Oh. Okay. So that was the halfway mark when the text changes on the bottom of the screen. It says it means that you're halfway there. So I think 2 more damage should do it. Probably. Come on. There we go. Oh, hello, Trojan. And yes, they drain vitals. That's right. You missed the Wiimote acting up mid-run, and you also missed the bomb killing me. That was fantastic. Okay, so coming up is the second to last operation, which is a boss rush of sorts. We're going to deal with 4 strains of guilt back to back in order: Triti, Kyriaki, Diphthera, and Paraskevi. Diphtheria is by far the strongest one, I'd say. The most dangerous one. It's really simple, just use the healing touch and extract everything. Preferably without missing. Kiriaki is more of the same, we've done that 1,000 times. Ugh. Okay. I'll expand on why Diphtheria is a threat when I get to Diphtheria. There's also Perskevy, which is a full Perskevy worm on the heart, so you have to make sure that none of the worms bury. What? Hello? Okay. Gotta get to 24. There we go. So coming up is Diphtheria. Now to add to Diphtheria's gimmick, there will be blood pools all over the organ, which will make your vitals go down very fast overall. So if Diphtheria doesn't cooperate here and starts being a jerk and making blue pairs with blue, red pairs with red, then we might get into trouble here, like the patient might actually die. Thankfully though, they started cooperating a bit, and of course, just as I say that, they don't cooperate anymore. But now they're back to cooperating, which is nice. Okay, just one more. Come on, guys. No, that's bad. Stop. Stop that, please. That's bad. Please let me finish this operation. What are you doing? Did you guys see that? Like, the red guy made a beeline to where the other pair was, and then decided, oh hey, I'll go away right after doing that, right after screwing you over. Fuck you. Seriously, man, sometimes I get the feeling this game hates me. But still though, the patient didn't die, so that's always a plus. Okay, so all that's left is Perskevy, which shouldn't be a problem. All I have to do is make sure that none of the worms can get the chance to burrow themselves into the heart. Right, so here I'm going to use the healing touch. Hello. Use the healing touch to make sure the patient doesn't die, because these lacerations start dealing up more and more damage, and you want to focus on extracting the worms. Raising vitals takes time. Okay, so as I was a little bit conservative there, I slowed down just a little bit to make sure that none of the worms would burrow themselves into the patient. I've had enough chokes for the run. So yeah. Moving up is the final operation of the game, so we can finally be done with this, which is a powered up version of Savato. So Savato was the mecha spider thing. Now it's on flames and it's more powerful. And we're going to deal with it. Hopefully. Ugh. Sloppy maneuvering. Alright, so we're actually going to operate with both surgeons at the same time during this operation, which means that we get 2 healing touches. We need to save the dude's healing touch for the end so that we can stop time and kill the big bad guy. But we can use the girl's healing touch as much as needed. So we're probably going to do that on phase 2. And of course I get the bad pattern. So here it's random which pattern you get. There are 2 patterns. One with 4 webs and one with 5. If you get the one with 5, Savato gets to make another web and make more baby spiders. Thankfully though we can just ignore it and move on. Ugh. Okay. So now starts the real fight. Here's phase 1, and it's very aggressive. Again, Savato's attack pattern is completely random. It could be the most docile thing ever, or the most aggressive thing ever. Sometimes it also refuses to take damage. Like sometimes it has an insane amount of HP. Ideally, you wouldn't even see Savato attacking manually like this. Only when taking damage. But hey, marathon luck. Let's have the most aggressive pattern ever. So we just keep burning and taking care of the lacerations as they come, while boosting vitals whenever possible to make sure the patient doesn't die. Okay. That was a pretty bad phase 1. Usually you want to spend 1 minute during that phase. We wasted 1 minute and 30 seconds. Look at this! What's with the aggression, man? Calm down. Right, I'm going to use the healing touch here, since I don't want to waste time boosting vitals. It brings forth a little bit of lag, but I think it's worth it, mostly because I don't have to worry about vitals while dealing with this shit. Okay, that was a really good phase 2. We dealt with it in 50 seconds. That's a really good time, actually. Right, moving on to phase 3, the final phase. We want to stay above 30 vitals, because if we move on to the berserk phase when the patient has less than 30 vitals, the patient will instantly die. Don't ask why. The patient just does. Alright, here we go. Now all we have to do is draw a star and stop time. Then we can clear the game. There we go. I got a little bit of lag there, but that's alright. That was a decent Savato fight. 3 minutes and 7 seconds is okay. Far from optimal, but pretty good for a marathon, I guess. Okay, that's it for the last operation. Time is at the end of the epilogue, so get ready on that. Should be when the skip word at the bottom fades. I'll screen time when it's time, so hang on. And time. That's really good, considering I died twice and the Wiimote failed a little bit. That's 4 minutes above the world record. That's a really good time. That's really good. Alright. So I'm gonna let the credits roll because the music is nice, but I don't know. I was probably on time with the estimate, so I'm not sure if you want to hurry to the next game. Alright.